Monday, and welcome to another edition of XFeed. As the title suggests, we're going to go over one of the biggest brands in the world that launched NFT crates that I realized the other day we haven't heard a single thing about them. Maybe they're just like a one-time $40,000 sale, and that was it. That's all they wanted to do. They wanted absolutely zero association after the fact. We're going to go over the comparisons between some things that people like to buy and how individuals are criticized for buying digital assets when everybody's into their own niches, and we'll kind of compare and contrast some of that. We'll also get into some very interesting happenings over on the likes of Robinhood, if you haven't seen the news today. But to give you a little bit back to 2022, the Bobby Hundreds NFT NYC. NFTs are scams. I remember posting about this thinking that there was like actually a movement of people protesting against this. This was done outside of one of the, I think, side events at NFT NYC. Maybe this might have been like actually at the event. I don't exactly recall, but man, the timeline went crazy for it. I remember I fell for it, but it was just a marketing ploy for the Hundreds and the Atom Bomb Squad, and it was absolutely brilliantly done way back in the day. So there was this email that was getting sent around about Louis Vuitton and Clara Baku collection. I don't know who that is. I'm assuming it's a notable artist, but there was reps responding saying, I hope you're having an amazing vacation. Sorry for such an early text message. Red alert, if you receive this type of email, this is a scam. And it made me think back to the times when, remember, Louis Vuitton actually had some various NFTs. Like this one. Louis Vuitton NFTs are backed with a 7,900 euro digital varsity jacket. Okay, interesting. Designed by Pharrell Williams, the Western-inspired jacket is the first ready-to-wear item from the runway to be turned into an NFT. And this was back in 24. I don't remember that even being a thing, to be totally honest with you, but I do remember this, and Forbes actually did an article for it where they sold a crate of Louis Vuitton goods for like, whatever this price is, 39,000 euros. Also, the amount of ads on these websites and everything, the cookies required, can we absolutely forget off with that? Holy smokes. And we got to make sure that we're live on Abstract. I didn't even go live on there. Okay, now we're set in stone. We're good to go. NBA Top Shot moment still moving for 5 figures. This LeBron James Season 1 Cosmic just sold for $16,100 this morning. I love and have loved NBA Top Shot, but I still think one of like the all-time fumbles with it was trying to do somewhat similar to what happened with the card market, where it's like the exact same moment, but done in, hey, here's the casing for it, and this one's out of, 100, or this one's out of 1,000. I've never liked that, and I don't know why they ever went down that road. So we have to talk about some somber news. As you're probably aware, NFTs have taken like a massive hit. And I saw this by Genuine Article saying not long ago, Solana NFTs were selling for 6 and even 7 figures. Now even the mightiest are down at 90%. So without me scrolling, I want you to take a look at the bars here. So these were the all-time highs. And the current prices are the orange bars. Notice how you don't see any orange bars? So we scroll down a little bit. Decod's down really, really bad. Solana, Monkey Business, Geckos, Claynosaurs, Lads, all the stuff. And again, this is all sorts of different things, from the Solana price to NFTs, all kind of following a similar trajectory and waiting to see kind of these mainstream broader adoptions of different components. But damn, when you put it in those kind of charts, it's crazy. So this past weekend in Canada, there was the Call of Duty Championship. Now, what was weird about this, because of the fact that this was like the year-end tournament, they, needed to hold at a venue. They've done it a lot at the Ryerson University in previous years for a lot of different esports championships, because it's in Toronto. But this year, they decided to do it in Kitchener, which is 88 kilometers away from Toronto. So imagine going to an event internationally and then trying to get like an Uber or a taxi somewhere that's 88 kilometers. It's not miles, excuse me if I misspoke there, Canadian to US conversion. But this was like the event, and it ended up breaking records for viewership online and all that kind of crazy jazz. But it's like, why in the hell? And who in the hell decides these things? And then you think about it, you're like, who's the owner of this arena? Were they talking to the Call of Duty League and like being, hey, here's a little bit of extra money to come bring the event down here? I mean, I don't even think Kitchener is that big to host that many people for all those teams, the transportations for everything, for a 4-day event on like an international scale. That's kind of crazy. But For the people that really love it, they go out, they do it, and the tournament overall was awesome. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because you're probably like, all right, what the hell, is people will make the trip if they're very much fans of things, or people will support things that they're very much a fan of. So this tiny chef show, I've never heard of it, but it came up in my timeline that they've raised $100,000 to help save the show from ending. And then when you compare and contrast to NFTs, a lot of the launches and whatnot have been kind of, hey, here is the idea before the product. And I think if that ends up switching, where we have more products that are out there that are then offering NFTs on top of it for various reasons, we can have a little bit more sustainability than what we've had. Now, I also want to highlight the fact that merchandise across the globe has kind of really stunk up a little bit. And even in Web3, we saw like 9DCC close down. When are people going to nail merch? So like these are the new Chelsea kits in the English Premier League. There's basically nothing for them. Like, okay, you got the logo, that's cool. The design, bland. If it was cool, I'd buy it. Here's Los Ratones, one of the League of Legends teams that's playing in like a lower tier team, but it's done by a bunch of streamers. It's basic black and white. Okay, sure, like the rat hat looks kind of cool, but like, what is this? We're charging 70 euros for this? Have a little bit of cool design. Man, I would be out there buying these things, wanting support, but my goodness, we're still falling short on all of these things. So over the weekend, we also got this from Brad Garlinghouse. Ripple is dropping our cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop their appeal. As they previously said, we're closing this chapter once and for all and focusing on what's most important, building the internet of value, lock in. Everybody's been saying July is going to be a huge month for all these different ecosystems. We got real estate in the States going at like all-time highs. We got stocks at all-time highs. We're getting told that the money printers are starting up again. And listen, we're already at like pretty solid levels, except for altcoins. Bitcoins are way the hell up there, but when you're looking at the altcoin market, it's kind of wishy-washy. Do we end up seeing a little bit of a bid for that, or is it El Dunzo? So I posted this on the weekend as well, and I don't know if I just got a friendly face or what, but people randomly talk to me for whatever reason. And they're like, yo, what do you do? And I'm like, I need to come up with like a better answer, but I'm like, yo, like I'm kind of in like the Web3 area and whatnot. They're like, I hold Pepe coins. I'm like, this is the weirdest shit ever, but okay, cool. And so I made this post, and again, this is only like 16 votes, so it's very, very minimal. And you remember, always like your own tweets. If you're not liking your own tweets, you're not even trying. But I asked the question of how diversified are you in crypto? Do you only hold really one? Do you hold a handful, or are you very diversified? And the winner of that, they hold a handful. Decent amount holding only one, but second place, very, very diversified. Quite interesting on that front. And now we got to get into the Gala news notion. That's this one's kind of like, how do you even react in like a positive mantra? Okay, so we've highlighted Gala before, and it's felt like there's a very problematic approach to a lot of things they've done. They've gone through different shows. Sorry, 1 second. And they've gone from doing these founder nodes, they've gone from doing these shows, they've gone through doing these music nodes. At least I think they did a show. Maybe getting that mixed up with Gen X. I thought they did Gala Games film. Yeah, they did film as well. But the point being is they went and they tried to do like this broad scope of things, and it feels like they've fallen short on a lot of different aspects of it. One where they try to launch these NFTs for like $11,000 or something that was an orb that had music that was like changing, slightly graphical, and it was just kind of like, And I feel like they've always fallen short. And then, so this comes out, and this Neff person is somebody who is a mega large holder within the Gala ecosystem, and they put this in Discord, and then the CEO responded to this, so check this out. So the person who supported the ecosystem, like a lot, right, says, to put it in practical poor man's terms, as someone who spent around $300,000 in NFTs in the Gala store, never flipped an NFT and only sold around $10,000 in Gala, I'm telling you what, I would have to spend around $45,000 to buy Gala just to keep my founder nodes online, because there was a vote or they decided to change things because the founder nodes, they needed people, there was too much of like a inflation or tax, or just it wasn't becoming as sustainable as it was. As currently an unemployed man, that won't happen. I also don't want to sell my nodes. If you're telling me sorry sucks to be poor, just say it plainly. And then benefactor, who's the one that responded, which I'm in the way of and can't show. It says, it's more like it sucks that you can't be counted on to help take us to the promised land. And it's just like, this guy got completely lambasted on the timeline. The former Gala Games CEO, Jason Brinkbender, he was like, made this huge tirade of like, this is not good. This is not good. Every notable individual in Web3 gaming just started absolutely cooking it. So we'll see what sort of happens with Gala, but they've fallen short, and that is an absolutely awful response to what is going on with Gala Games. So Martin Wagner from the one and only Star Atlas says, my best estimate is that we're rapidly approaching the point of maximum capitulation on Web3 gaming and alts more broadly. Yes, it's been sad seeing the many studio closures over the year. I emphasize with the losses people have experienced and the loss in confidence in this new paradigm. But I still believe gaming represents one of, if not the best, use case for blockchain tech and crypto. There's a natural synergy with game economies and real value ownership and capture. The quality teams like Star Atlas that have endured have not been resting on their laurels waiting for better market conditions. They've been building, they've been following their dream and preparing themselves for releases, campaigns, and genuine sustainable growth. This consolidation to quality is only going to lead to unfathomable success for those that have made it to this point. And I kind of agree. We do have like a lot of people that are just giving up on things, but for the ecosystems that have been able to stay around, assuming that they are able to get a little bit more traction from what they currently have, that is something to very much watch. And we do kind of enjoy, some bullishness on the timeline. So Shocks, this is an esports host. They've done it for Counter-Strike. I think they've done it for Valorant, big League of Legends personality. And they posted saying, I just found out how much Magic the Gathering decks cost yesterday, and I'm never feeling guilty about buying a handbag again. And I think this is hilarious because a couple things. Number one, you might be somebody that's never bought a handbag before, right? And I know that there's ones that are super expensive out there. I couldn't tell you the different brands, Louis Vuitton being one of them, and that's probably about it. But Magic the Gathering, I played it before. I used to be super, super into it, and they have standard and modern decks. Going out and buying these specific cards, depending on how valuable or strong they are in these things, apart from collectability, can run you thousands upon thousands of dollars. And then you have to go and enter tournaments, which probably cost even more from that. You have the transportation, everything else. And then it goes back to just the broad concept of everybody has something that they're interested in buying. And sure, if you've told anybody, hey, I've bought in crypto or NFTs, they can make fun of you for that. But then, it's just normalized for these other things of, hey, you use this bag occasionally, spend a whole bunch of on it for a designer. How easy is it for somebody to potentially steal that off you in the streets if you go to place that's not exactly that safe? Do you want to have that liability on you? Do you want to have this much money on paper cardboards that if something happens, if you leave a card in your pocket and you forget about it for whatever reason, if it's not in these cases, you have to go and buy all these cases. The point being is people spend a shit ton of money on whatever the hell they like. And listen, I'm just saying, let people do what they want to do. This is not me on Discord, by the way. There's like a dot in front of the name. It's not me. I got hit from one of my League of Legends friends, and he was like, yo, is this you? And there's somebody messaging them, being like, yo, do you hold NFTs or crypto? And they sent me a screenshot of it, and they're like, yo, why are you talking weird? Do you have like a second account? And I'm like, no. They're like, okay, cool. Figured something was up. So always be on high alert that whoever, and it could not just be me, it could be literally anybody, just be aware. So on the topic of Star Atlas and them having kind of a huge space expedition, the Star Wars variant of their world, here's Readyverse, and they have the Corona Forge's world kind of built out within their Ready Player One metaverse experience. Again, waiting to see what these access looks like when we go into these worlds. How do the games play? How are you able to do stuff? But I do think the concept and seeing this stuff and actually like seeing what the in-game footage is awesome, awesome, awesome. So during the mid-season invitational, there was a ad here from Coinbase, and I tried to find the video of it. I couldn't find like one that was like actually done in full, but I did saw this post from David that was highlighting it, and it was like this blue screen of, if you're watching a game in full screen, you'd be like, oh shit, my computer just got fried, right? And then you're instantly locked into like, okay, what is this? And then you're paying attention. And it was that about crypto. And I just thought it was really, really good. But Coinbase is really ramping up some of their advertisements. Cole Ethereum, the original founder of Pudgy Penguin, saying Pengu will flip Solana. You might say, okay. You might say that guy's absolutely full of crap. But it's all about the narratives, right? if something starts moving, if Pengu starts going up 10% a day, whatever it is, and other tokens are falling flat, the narratives change quick, the people feeling confident about things change quick, and you never know what you will see. Dim saying, I missed this news, and it looks like Guttercat was acquired for Checksnote the third time. What? Gutter lives on. I've officially acquired the Guttercat Gang IP. As a day one holder, I'm here to resurrect the brand with the community. Town Hall, Council, and Fresh Vision coming soon. Let's show Web3 what happens when Gutter refuses to fade. What the hell is going on with Guttercat Gang? Originally, they came out, they did the 3,000 mints, they did like the Vegas parties. I remember people got kicked out of them because they were so rambunctious. They did the side collections with the vials. They did basically like the Mutant Ape Yacht Club thing, but with like dogs, birds, and rats. And then somebody else bought them, said they were going to have a grand vision. I think that they sponsored like a 3-on-3 basketball league at a point, and then we didn't see anything, and now they're acquired again. I don't understand anything to do with Web3. I really don't. Me in 2009 instead of mining crypto. Well, there's a lot of people out there right now that are out playing games, doing whatever they do, not paying attention to anything within the markets. But you are. So well done. So this is kind of interesting. Robinhood, they are launching the first ever private stock tokens for customers to access in the EU. Now, we've also got notes that Robinhood is now tokenizing stocks and whatnot on Arbitrum on top of that. So OpenAI and SpaceX were the two tokens they showed in here, and they were like, yo, if you download the app, I want to give you some shares in this. I don't know if that was for the people at home or the people just in attendance. I'm assuming just in attendance. But damn, Robinhood, they've acquired a big crypto exchange conglomerate. They're out here tokenizing goods. We're sitting back and watching, but the market's looking like they are getting frothy. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Hope you guys found some sort of value out of this. And of course, we do the RWA Segments podcast, where we talk about things such as this with some industry experts. And I'm about to start a recording with somebody for this week's show. So I will catch you guys tomorrow and hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk soon. Peace.